Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Spartan Sports Report. And gosh, we're really happy to have Michelle Harter with us. She's the girls' head basketball coach at CHS, and she's here in place of Sam. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Sam wasn't able to be here, so we invited you.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
It's great to see you, Michelle.
Good to see you too.
Season number 2 for you, CHS, and like last year, this year was not a normal year. I'm referring to what you guys do during the summer and meet the girls and things like that. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, you know, last year I was hired a little late, so
Yes.
I didn't get a summer with the girls. And so I was looking forward to this year, having the summer and getting the chance to, to playing in some scrimmages and just working with the girls fundamental-wise and things that we needed to get better at. And then we had the pandemic that hit, and so we were out from March until July. We finally did get to start back up a little bit. But it was just, you know, quite 2 summers in a row there that were a little bit different and kind of put you behind a little bit. So, you know, started back up in July, and then in August, once school started again, then we were able, towards the end of August, to start off. And so we've been going twice a week, working on some things. But of course, you don't have all the girls because you have your fall sports that are going on, and they're participating in that. So yeah, it definitely has been a strange 2 summers for me.
I know you, during the summer, you really like the camps to get the kids together.
And, you know, that was one big thing that we were looking forward to doing was the camps, not only with your team, taking them to a team camp and doing some things, but also with the younger girls. Getting them in and getting them acclimated to what it is that we want to be doing in our program, and getting them excited about the program and working on some fundamentals and meeting the girls and having that time to spend in there. So, you know, that was a little bit of a disappointment not being able to do those camps. So, you know, again, just kind of got behind a little bit. Now we'll have to look coming up here in the winter time. Maybe we can get some things going with that. Look at getting some things going with our youth program once all this settles down and we can see, you know, a little bit more what we're going to be able to do.
How does the ISSAA figure in the summer programs? Do they have control over those like they do during the regular season?
They're not quite as strict during the summer. Typically what we've done in the past, June is where I do most of my basketball, where we play games, we go to camps. The girls come in for workouts more frequently. And then in July, we typically just have a couple times throughout the week that the girls can come in and work out and just have a ball in their hand, because AAU starts up typically in July, and with volleyball and soccer, so trying to give the girls that opportunity to do just a little bit of everything. So June is typically the big month for basketball when we do most of our stuff, and so this year, you know, we weren't able to. So we just started back up in July when we had the opportunity for a couple weeks there to get in and do some things with the younger girls, middle school, and with the high school girls.
Have you had the call out for the teams?
We did have our call out a few weeks ago before we started up at the beginning of September here. We started with our workouts and had good numbers. A lot of the girls are doing volleyball and they're doing soccer and cross country, which is great. You like to see your multi-sport athletes. The girls that aren't in any of those sports have been coming and been working out and, you know, working hard, and we're seeing improvement, seeing, you know, from where we started last year to where we are this year, we've seen some big improvement with what we want them to be doing. So that's been nice. You know, and next week we start up, so just going to hit the ground running. Right,
this coming Monday, the IHSAA lets girls basketball begin practices with their coach, and until then you cannot really have a practice, can you?
Well, we can have you can have contact for, there's a little bit of a time period where we can do that. Here in September we were allowed to go just 4 hours total a week with having the ball out. If you went beyond that, then it can only be conditioning types of things. So we, you know, have been doing that, which has been nice because you can at least get out there on the floor. You can work with the girls on the fundamentals and things that you want to do. And then when we have that dead period, it's usually only conditioning that you're allowed to do.
Right.
So we have at least been able to have the basketballs out, working on some things these last few weeks, and getting the girls ready to go. You know, the girls that come in then from volleyball and from soccer and cross country, we'll get them going. They were there in the summer, so hopefully it'll be something that when they come in and they start doing it, they remember, and it, you know, refreshes and they catch on quickly.
Do the girls go to the workout room at CHS?
We do. We have been going in and lifting weights twice a week. We have a program that they do. It usually takes half hour, 45 minutes to go in, because that was one big thing, you know, area that we needed to improve on. We needed to get stronger. And I think the girls do look stronger now.
Good.
Compared to where we came in last year. So that's something that we've been doing here in the off season. And it's something that will continue during the season.
Yes, very important, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It is.
Okay, you select the girls. They'll be practicing, and you have help selecting your assistant coaches, I imagine. And then you, with Mr. Duncan, probably check academically how they're doing.
Yes, I mean, and we have our 9 weeks coming up here at the end of on Wednesday next week, so it's going to be really important for the girls to make sure they're getting their grades, and that's one thing that we've talked to them about. You have to have your grades. You have to be academically sound, because if you're not, then that's going to affect on the basketball floor. And you want well-rounded individuals. You know, you're not going to be playing basketball for the rest of your life, so that's something that you need to make sure you get your academics. And we'll have our usually first 3 days of practice. We kind of watch the girls, see where we think that they should be, whether it's going to be freshman, JV, or varsity, and sit down with the coaches. We, talk about it after each practice, how things are going, what types of things they need to see a little bit more of, what types of things, I want to see a little bit more of, and then we make our decision. And usually by that third day, we've made the decision, and then we get going with the teams from that point on.
Who are your assistants?
Rick Brown's going to be doing the freshmen again, and we're hoping that we have enough girls come out for that freshman team. But you just never know till that first week of practice comes around. Chad House will be doing the junior varsity again, and then Laura Igney will be helping me with the varsity. So those will be my coaches. Brandy, she right now is teaching and working as an athletic director somewhere else, so she's going to try to come in and volunteer when at all possible. Brandy Joloff, but those will be the coaches that'll be helping me out this year.
Great. How many girls will you need to staff all teams?
Well, I'd like to have 30, 32 girls. I mean, that would be ultimately, what you'd like to see. You're at least looking at 10 per team.
Yes.
Then with that, so that would be really nice to have it broken down like that. And we had around 25, 28 girls that came to the call-out meeting. So, again, it just all depends on if they decide that they want to continue and if they're going to come back out when we start up on the 19th.
You didn't lose just 2 girls through graduation?
We lost 2 seniors last year, Tylissa and Cheyenne both, and, they did a tremendous job for us as being leaders it's hard having a new coach come in and not getting that summer, and I thought that they did a great job for us. The nice thing this year is we'll have 7, 8 girls that have solid varsity experience. Where last year coming in, we had 1 girl who had that varsity experience. So that'll be nice to have some girls who step out on the floor and have experience at that varsity level and feel a little bit more relaxed and understand a little bit more what it is they need to be doing.
I think valuable experience by these underclassmen last year.
Yes, definitely. And you could see them grow from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. And we've seen that in our practices that we've had with the girls coming in, just the leadership with some of them, stepping up, being a little bit more vocal, and just the, the leadership with them as far as helping the underclassmen, communicating with each other out there. So it's nice to see that experience start to play a little bit of a factor in what it is we're doing out there.
I would think every coach would want to be in your shoes right now with the experience that you've had because we talked about just the 2 seniors has left the team. So it's great.
Yep,
great.
just 2, and so we have all the rest of them coming back. So that you know, that's really nice to have some of that experience coming back, and the girls feeling a little bit more comfortable with what it is, you know, I want them to do out there on the floor.
Oh, sure. I think it's going to be a real entertaining year for the Lady Spartans this year.
Yeah, I'm excited to get started. The girls are excited to get started, and you know, it's just one of those things that you never know where you're going to be till you step on the floor for sure against somebody else, and they throw something new at you. So that's where the scrimmage coming up at the end of this month will be very valuable for us.
Okay, let's look at the schedule right now for the Lady Spartans this year. As Michelle said, on October 31st, on Saturday, a scrimmage at Union County. That starts at noon, and does this include freshman, JV, and varsity?
It'll be varsity, and JV typically plays a quarter. So we usually do like 5 quarters, 4 will be varsity, and then JV will get a quarter, so that they can have a chance to step out on the floor a little bit too, and get some of those nerves out, and play against.
Got their butterflies.
That's right, and play
way.
Against somebody different. You know, that's always. It's always you get used to playing against your own team, but then when you step out with somebody different, it's just a little bit different look for them. So just to get some of those jitters out a little bit.
Yes, this isn't a game, is it? What's the structure of the scrimmage?
Typically, what we do at the scrimmage is we decide at each quarter what it is that we want to do. So usually one quarter will be all man-to-man.
Okay.
Another quarter will be zone if both coaches want to do a zone. And then the last 2 typically could be like trapping defense, could be full court press, but we usually get together and just kind of talk about what we want to do, so we can go back to our teams and say, okay, here's what's going to happen, so we can plan a little bit for that, just to get ourselves going and to work on things that we need to work on.
Well, it's a real preview and gives the fans a chance to see the girls.
Yes, exactly. See, you know, where they're at, and just come out and get excited about it and get going.
Right, that's at noon on, that's Halloween.
It is, yeah.
Noon on the 31st at Union County, okay. On November the 5th, you open with New Palestine. So you jump into the fire right away, right?
Definitely we do. I mean, they were a strong team last year. They did graduate some seniors, so, you know, but they had some younger girls that had valuable experience as well. So it's one of those, you know, they're strong, they're quick, they like to press.
Yes.
So we do jump right into the fire there at the very beginning. But again, it's good to see where you're at, where you need to go.
Right, you'll find in a hurry.
That's right, yes.
What you need to work on. Okay. Yep. On November, that's a Thursday, by the way, November 5th, so that's home opener here at Spartan Bowl. It's great to have the first game here.
Yeah, it will be nice to play at home for the first night.
Sure will. You'll be at Decatur Central at 10 o'clock in the morning on the Saturday on the 7th, and this is a 4-team event? Yes,
Decatur Central, Cardinal, Ritter, and Southport, and then us.
Okay.
And it's one that revolves, you know, rotates from school to school each year. So we were at Southport last year, Decatur Central this year. So.
And you just play one game. There's no championship.
We'll play 2 games, but there's not it's not a championship. It's just you know who you're going to play, and so you just play those 2 games. And the JV plays 2 games as well.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was. It was another one of those where you get to play some different schools and kind of see where you're at. And, you know, it's not much of a turnaround for us. We play on Thursday night, have Friday night practice, and then go play Saturday. But, you know, when you talk about early on, it just kind of gets your feet wet right away. And, you know, that's how it's going to be when you get down to the sectional time.
That's right.
We just start right off at the very beginning like that. So
Decatur Central, that's in Southwest Indy?
I believe so.
In that area?
In that, yeah.
I'm not really familiar, but I believe that's where it's at.
Yeah, I probably have to Google it.
We'll find it, though, anyway, on that day. Okay, on the 13th, you'll be at Mount Vernon. On the 14th, that's Shenandoah. That's a Friday and Saturday event. At Centerville on the 20th, and you finally get back home on the 21st, and the Anderson and Lady Indians come.
Yep, they do, and you know, that was a game last year for us. Again, we kind of got to see a little bit of a run and jump and little quickness with them, and their athletic, you know, kind of threw us off a little bit, but when we settled down, we kind of got back in the game and in the swing of it. So you know, these games at the beginning, we see several different styles with the teams that come in. But again, they're teams that are preparing us when it comes down to tournament time to get us ready to go.
Right, you're like all coaches. The season is just practice for
That's right. You play those 22 games to get to that sectional, and that's where.
Then you'll be home with Batesville on the 28th, and then we move to the December 5th at Greensburg. That's at 1:30, I believe, in the afternoon.
Yes, so that would be an afternoon.
On the Saturday afternoon. On the 8th, you'll be home with Newcastle. On the 11th, home with Hagerstown. On the 15th, home with Lawrenceburg. On the 18th, home with a team from South Dearborn. And that's a good home streak.
It is a good, yes, it is. After being on the road for a while there, that's quite a good home streak, yes.
That's great. On the 22nd, we'll be at Greenfield, and that's at 6 o'clock. And I believe that's a doubleheader, isn't it?
Yes, boy-girl doubleheader.
Okay, you guys play at 6, and the boys 7:30. Yeah, that's good. I think.
No, yeah, those are always fun.
Yeah, and the fans really enjoy those.
To get the girls get to play in front of a little bit bigger crowd as they're coming in, and so you know it's just fun to have those boy-girl doubleheaders and you know stick around and support each other and be there and watch. So.
For the fans, it's 2 for 1.
That's
so
right.
You can't beat that.
That's right. Yes.
On the 29th, you'll be in the Western Classic at Rushville. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Well, we needed a couple more games because some of our games got dropped, and so this was one where their coach. They were looking for another team, and they asked if we wanted to play, and thought it would be another, you know, good competition for us. It's over Christmas break, so we can travel, but we don't have to spend, you know, we're not spending the night or anything. It's just a one-day event, so, you know.
Is that up in the Kokomo area?
It is. It's around the Kokomo area. And I think the boys are up there playing that same, they play both those.
They play Kokomo in the Phil Cox Memorial Tournament. And that's a couple of days, I believe.
Yes, it is.
That's good.
So it was, you know, an opportunity. Rumble at the River was canceled, so we weren't going back down there. So we decided to pick up a tournament.
Well, that's great. Yeah. I hope Rushville's a little town, I believe, isn't it?
It is. It is. Yeah, it's not real big, but.
But that'll be a great experience for the girls. I know they'll be anxious to participate in that, and as you say, just one day. So
it's just it's just one day, so that makes it nice.
Yes, sure does. In January the 6th, you'll be home with Union County. You'll be at Richmond on the 12th. On the 15th, home with Franklin County. On the 22nd, home with Pendleton Heights. At Rushville on the 23rd, January the 28th, will be at East Central. And it's hard to believe the season ends in.
I know. It's amazing that the end of January there, you're finishing up and you're starting right up with the sectional.
Right,
It always goes by so fast, it seems. Every year a little quicker. Yeah.
Doesn't it though? And then on February the 2nd, as you said, the sectional, and that begins at Rushville?
Yes, it's at Rushville. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and a Saturday.
Yes, yes. Well,
depending on the luck of the draw, we could be traveling 4 nights or.
Well, I hope so. Well, it'll be close, so that'll be good.
That's right. Yeah, it's not too far, so that's good.
Yeah, we might check this week's sports schedule. It's a small one for CHS. The junior varsity plays football with Lawrenceburg at Spartan Stadium. That's on Thursday night at 6 o'clock is the kickoff. We hope that you can stop by and watch the young football players. Volleyball sectional opens at Lawrenceburg. The Lady Spartans meet Rushville at 7:30. Friday, the Spartans play football at Batesville. It's the final regular season game, 7 p.m. kickoff on Saturday. The cross-country regional at Rushville and the girls soccer regional. I was unable to find out. Somebody said it was in Bend, Oregon. I said, no, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know where it's at. If it's near
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know. I had difficulty trying to find that, so I didn't find it. I mean, the middle school football at Shelbyville on Tuesday. Here are the area football records for the teams that end their seasons this coming Friday night, and then they go into sectional play. Union County 3-4. They lost 53-7 to Monroe Central. They're home with Try Friday. Cambridge City is 1-4. They lost 13-6 to Winchester. They'll be at South Decatur on Friday. Richmond is 1-6. They lost 16-10 to Anderson. Friday home with Harrison of West Lafayette. Franklin County is 4-1. They won 41-0 over Batesville. They'll be at Beech Grove on Friday. Rushville is 0-8. They lost 52-12 to South Dearborn. Home with Greensburg on Friday. Centerville is 7-1. They won 56-2 at Union City. Friday they will be traveling to Nicetown to close the season. So that's how the football area teams stand up. And the Spartans, of course, had a disappointing game at Lawrenceburg. 49-0 was the final score. Lawrenceburg had 2 first quarters of 21 points each, and it sort of put the Spartans behind the A-ball, and the kids weren't able to recover from that kind of a lead.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a couple of the football games this year, and, you know, watching from last year to this year, just how much they've improved and how hard they play, and they've been in so many close games. And but you're right, when you get yourself behind, you know, it's hard to dig yourself out of that hole.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah. And the girls know that too.
Yes, definitely. Because you expend so much energy trying to get back in, and it just makes it difficult for you.
Yes, it does, to play catch up all the time, and we don't like to see that. We like to get off to a good jump. And,
this is true.
and not play the other team's game and things like that. So I know we're in for a good season, winter season here at all the sports at CHS, and you've got the honor of being the first winter sports to start.
We do. That's right. Yeah, we start up on Monday, and you know it always seems like takes forever to get here. For that, you know,
yes,
that time,
it does during
and then once you get started, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're halfway through now. You know,
the days fly
so
by.
it's just one of those things. You know, these 2 weeks we'll have and to get ready, and they'll fly by, and it'll be like starting our games up and get going.
Right. What do you look for in a basketball player?
Well, you know what I like to see, a complete player. You know, somebody who can play defense.
Sure.
Who has that heart, that desire, because defense is not easy. It's one of those things that you have to have that grit, that toughness, that want to get out there and stop somebody, and you know, take those risks, you know, for yourself to get out there and just play hard. And somebody who's willing, when there's a loose ball on the floor, to dive on the floor and get after it, and just play hard from start to finish. You know, and then obviously offensively, you want somebody who's going to be that complete all-around player that can handle the ball, that can shoot, somebody that has knowledge of the game and what's going on out there with offense and with defense. So you're just kind of looking for somebody that comes out and plays with a lot of heart and a lot of desire, because those are kids that you can continue to coach and that you can help to get better. And maybe, you know, their skill isn't right there at the very beginning, but they're the type of kid that wants to get better. They're coachable, and they're willing to go out and try what the coaches are asking them to do.
Is this a cruel way of saying it? You want them to play with a chip on their shoulder?
Yeah, you know, really, you really kind of want them to go out there, and you want them.
Think they're better than the other guy?
Well, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. You got to have some confidence in yourself.
Yeah, sure.
You don't want to be overly confident, but you have to believe in yourself.
Okay.
Because if you step on the floor and you already think you're defeated, you know, that makes
absolutely.
That's just exactly what's going to come true. So they have to go out there with a little bit of that attitude and that willingness to, it's okay to make a mistake, because you're not going to play a perfect game, but understand when you make that mistake, then I don't stop playing. If I turn the ball over, I make sure I hustle back down, and what can I do to help my team defensively now? And then when I come back down on the offense, make sure I don't do the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
So just, you know, you have to have that confidence. You have to, kind of like you said, play with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as you keep that energy within, and you're not, you know, it's not one of those things where the other team, you know, if you make a mistake and you get down. The other team
Yes.
sees that, and then what are they going to do? They're going to pick on you to get in your head a little bit more. So having that confidence when they step on the floor, and that comes with practice and getting out there on their own and working on the things that they need to work on to get better.
And how important do coaches fit into this? I mean, you point out what the youngster did by a mistake and help them to correct it? Is that your job?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to have that good constructive criticism with them. I mean, you can't always tell them that they're doing everything right. If you point out that there's something that they're doing wrong, and then turn around when they do it correctly, you need to make sure that you really point that out and tell them, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to see you do.
Okay.
Keep that up. So it's got to be that balance where it's not all negative, 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 because then they're just going to think, well, there's nothing I can do that's right. So giving them that constructive criticism, and then when they do it the correct way, making sure that you're letting them know that that's exactly what they need to be doing.
That's one of your primary jobs, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, you have to have that balance, and you have to understand some kids you can get on a little bit more. Other kids you can't quite. You have to look at it a different way and try to explain it to them in a little different terms. So it's recognizing the types of players that you have, and then going about what's going to be the best way for me to get the most out of them.
So kids are different, right?
Kids are very different. Yes, they are. So it's not, one size fits all with all of them. You have to learn their personality. You have to learn what works best for them. And some kids you can chew on, and other kids you can't. So you have to understand and have that balance.
So coaches have a big responsibility.
Yes, well, I mean, we really do. There's a lot to think about, not just X's and O's, but making sure that your team is growing. They're as individuals, young ladies out there on the floor, learning a lot of life lessons. Dependability, reliability, being accountable, that hard work, the work ethic that they have. So there's a lot to go along with it other than X's and O's.
As the end product, you want these kids to be good citizens.
Exactly. And that, that's what you want to develop. You want them to be successful while they're out there on the floor, and you want them to improve their skills, but most importantly, yes, you want them to be good citizens when they leave. Right.
The atmosphere at Connersville, I know I'm biased, it seems to be different than when we go out of town. I mean, with the band and the crowd, there's just an enthusiasm here at Spartan Bowl that I don't feel other places. Am I off base there?
No, I love playing here at the Spartan Bowl. There is that energy, and the fans, that's one thing that I really noticed last year, how positive the fans are, how much they enjoy watching the athletes out there playing, and how much they encourage them the entire time. And just, being a part of that, it doesn't happen everywhere. And that's one really nice thing about the fans here in Connersville. They love their sports, and they love to watch the kids out there, and they are very positive.
I thought it was just me or something, but
no, that's something that I really noticed last year as well.
Yeah, so. It's a basketball town. I'll treat you that, and I know we talk about schools, and they have a predominant sport, summer football, summer basketball, and we're in the latter. So. That's good, I think.
That's fine with me.
I'll bet. Yeah, I can make a basketball coach.
That's right.
We might, before we close here, I mention that the football sectional, we talked about the final games this week, and the sectional, the Spartans will be meeting Muncie Central at Muncie on Friday, October 23rd at 7 o'clock. So they can look forward to that, and hopefully they go a long way. I'd like to see the kids do good.
Definitely, and this is the time of year when, they step on the floor, and these games have prepared them for this opportunity to step out there on the field and, play hard, and anything can happen during the tournament time, so you got to step out there and keep going.
Michelle, it's been a pleasure having you on the show this evening, and we really appreciate you taking time out to bring us up to date on the Lady Spartans basketball.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thanks again. Goodbye, everybody, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you again on another Spartan Sports Report. Good night.